Hello everybody, this is going to be a short introduction into the Army Enlisted Schools process, including what is needed to request the school and how to submit the request. I have 4 points in my discussion today. The first is SSD and PME. SSD is structured self-development and PME is professional military education. I'm going to talk about the prerequisites, both unit and school-based, the forms that need to be reviewed or completed by yourself and your leadership, and how to email the school request with all of the prerequisites attached in the email. So the first point of discussion is SSD and PME. I'm not going to go over the entire segment there. If you have questions about how it applies to you, you're free to check out hrc.army.mil and you can look at the mil per message associated. Today I'm just going to talk about the E1 through E4 block. As far as specialists are concerned, SSD1 must be completed before being able to be recommended to attend the sergeant board. Now, if you attend the board and you're recommended for promotion, you must complete BLC before you're able to pin on sergeant. And that's what's leading us into our discussion today to talk about PME and enlisted schools. All right, so first we're going to talk about the prerequisites for the schools. Number 1, you have to have valid ARNet access. This should be done during the in-processing into the unit, but nonetheless, here's the information, usar.army.mil in order to secure your valid access. Next prerequisite is a valid CAC and PIN. Most times soldiers have valid ID cards, it's just the PIN gets locked out. So you can go to the website, you just Google Rapids, and one of the first websites that pops up is this here. You just type in your state and your zip code and it'll show you the nearest military bases where you can schedule an appointment. And finally, the last prerequisite is you have to have your cyber awareness completed, and you can do that at signal.army.mil. Now that we've talked about SSD, PMEs, and the prerequisites, we're going to move into the forms that need to be completed or reviewed by yourself and your leadership. So the first one you're going to start with is the 349 Schools SOP. This document is going to show you everything that you need in order to be successful in one of the ATRRS schools that you're applying for. This document covers everything from the ATRRS course catalog to the prerequisites needed for the school to your responsibilities as the person requesting to be enrolled in the school. Once you've reviewed the SOP, you're going to want to go ahead and touch base with your first line leaders and get a DA 4856 knocked out. That's your counseling form that attests that you and your leadership have discussed the fact that you want to go to school and you know, understand, and acknowledge your responsibilities. Next, you'll move into the Soldier Readiness Tracker. All the items on this need to be completed. You can, if you don't know the answers to the medical and dental and physical readiness, you can find that on your AKO under My Medical and My Training and DTMS for your physical readiness. If you're not an NCO or an officer, don't worry about the eval part. And finally, the last part is the ATRRS application must be completed in its entirety by you. You can reference the ATRRS course catalog to get information about the school that you want to go to, which is that first course information, that first segment up on top. You're going to make sure you want to put in a first, second, and third choice for schools. That includes the course date. So this way, if the ATRRS manager is inputting a date and the class is already filled, then we have a secondary and tertiary option for you. Once you've completed and reviewed all of the previous forms, now you're going to want to compile all of these attachments into an email so you can send it to your platoon sergeant and make sure that you CC your squad leader and team leader. You want to make sure that they're in on the loop. This way, if somebody's out sick or there's a turnover in time frame or a turnover in leadership, then you know that there are more than one set of eyes that are tracking this request. It is still your responsibility to follow up on it, and I suggest you follow up on your request once every 30 days, whether it's this or any other request that you send up through your chain of command. Be sure and practice appropriate email etiquette. You're going to want to have your name in the subject line, the purpose of your request, and your platoon in the subject line. In the body of the email, you want to make sure to address all of the things that are attached. There should be 5 attachments for your request. It's going to be the ATRRS application, your Soldier Readiness Tracker, and your schools counseling, which is what we talked about in this video. And in addition to that, you're going to want to have proof of any prerequisites that you need for the course, like SSD1 if you're going to BLC, and you're going to want to have a passing record APFT. This can be a DA 705 or a screenshot of your DTMS. If you have any other questions about anything that I spoke about in this video, here's your resources page. All your schools guidance and the mil per messages associated can be found at hrc.army.mil. The ATRRS course catalog does not require a logon. You can do it from your cell phone or your home computer at atrs.army.mil. Furthermore, if you have any questions about any of the forms that I talked about in this presentation, see your first line leader, or you can retrieve them from the battalion share drive.